Hello world, my name is Ihor and this is a Techno Break. I have this module for a long time in my case, the Versio from Noise Engineering, and today I'd like to play with Electus Versio, explore how it sounds, and make a little techno track with it. But before we jump into the patching and exploration session, I'd like to mention a few things about the Versio platform. So the Versio platform includes two things: the hardware or module, which has 7 knobs, 2 switches, 1 button, 10 inputs and 2 outputs, and the software or firmware, which decides what this module actually is. And so far, Noise Engineering released 5 different versions of software for it. So one is emitter, and you can see that this panel looks like emitter exactly. And emitter is a delay. Then Desmodus is a delay and reverb and mix of both. Then Electus. Electus is a Desmodus, but with a clock. And Ruina. Ruina is a crazy module. It's a distortion with folder, with phasing. It actually takes any sound and makes it crazy. And then Ampla Versio, which is ADSR envelope with an VCA inside, and there is a filter and chorus, I think. So yeah, and you can easily install one of them into the module by just taking it out of your case, plugging the USB cable in, few clicks on the customer portal of Noise Engineering, and done. You have a completely different module. I think this is a game-changing approach to modular, honestly. But Noise Engineering took this approach even further, and they made this platform open sourced. That means that not only Noise Engineering, but also other developers can write software and release whatever modules they can imagine on this platform. Me, myself, as a software developer, I truly believe in open source, and I think bringing the open source approach into the modular is quite a promising thing. But without further ado, let's explore Electus Versio and make a little techno track with it. So right here you see the emitter Versio, which is basically the Versio module with emitter Versio panel. But I flashed it into the Electus Versio and I printed out the panel so that we have reference of the controls. So yeah, I have -Iteritas as a main voice, few modulation sources, MAM-8 as a filter, Steppy and MIDI for sequencing. And here we have Analog Rytm, which gives us clock over the MIDI and also has the Techno Groove prepared. So the Electus Versio is not quite delay, not quite reverb, but rather mixture of two, or you can actually blend in between delay-ish sound and reverber sound. It is also really good for creating like textures and long decay reverbs and atmospheres. And this one can be actually clocked, which is really good. So let's start with some patch. I'm gonna remove this testing cable. And firstly, I'd like to cover some basics, of course. So we're gonna get clock from MIDI and run or reset from MIDI, and then trigger the -Iteritas from output A right into the trigger, output from manis into the filter, and from filter into the Electus. And here in Electus, if you patch only the left channel, it's gonna be normalized into the right as well. And then we have to patch 2 outputs from Electus into our output module. So I'm gonna do it like this, not to have the cable hanging here. So left one and right one. And let's put one trig on Steppy and hear how it sounds, the manis. So pretty basic sound. And let's start with Electus. So first of all, there is blend knob. This is our dry wet signal control. And in the middle, it's gonna give both basically, fully dry signal and wet signal together. But there is no wet signal yet. The moment we start introduce regan, and this is our like feedback amount knob in simple terms, it starts generating the tails, but short ones. And the closer we to the noon or to 12 o'clock, the longer delay lines are. And past 12 o'clock, we have our delay lines going forever. So I can remove the signal. And we have this texture going on. And it can evolve because we feed feedback back into the input. But let's go back to the signal. Let's leave it somewhere here. So the next one is the tone, and this controls the feedback, low pass filter and high pass filter. To the left with low pass, makes it darker. To the right, high pass. Then there is an LFO to modulate the sound, to modulate the feedback. To the right, it uses the sine wave to modulate it. To the left, the random LFO. And then we can increase or decrease the speed of this LFO with this knob. Nice. Let's leave it somewhere here a little bit. Time knob serves two different purposes. So first of all, if it's not clocked, it works as a time for delay or for reverb. And to the left, it creates some sort of like bursts, and to the right, more like delay kind of thing. But it becomes even more interesting with the clock, but we will cover this a little bit later. Then we have dance, and this one affects the spacing in between delay lines. So the more you go to the right, the more reverby or smeared they are. The more you go to the left, the more delay-ish or more obvious the delay lines are. Then we can switch the type of feedback processing, whether it's limiter, which gives us quite clean tail. Then distortion, my favorite, which distorts the feedback instead of limiting. And shimmering, this one feeds the signal back but one octave higher, which creates some sort of like shimmering reverb. It's really weird one. What is it? And then we can switch different reflection types. Okay, I like this one. And all these parameters could be modulated with these inputs, right? And then we have a tap button, which we can tap tempo in, but we can also clock the tempo here. And let's do it actually. So I'm gonna go into output B of steppy, make it 6 steps so that we have like 1/6 of bar clock division, and use it as a clock divider. So we have this clock, and let's patch it into the tap input here. Listen to that. There goes delay. Let's clean all the lines and switch it to middle. So when clock is patched to this module and time in the middle is basically using exact the same clock. To the right is gonna go faster and multiply the clock. To the left is gonna divide clock by different divisions. So let's listen to that. So dance delay becomes less obvious and more reverbish or more textured. And we can clearly hear the modulation from the LFO. I think this needs a kick drum. Let's come back to the kind of clear sound. So the regain knob, if it passes 3 o'clock, the dry signal ducks the wet signal, and you can find really nice spots here. So we resonated the filter a little bit, and the signal from it is still present a little bit. Let's make it darker, maybe, the feedback. Let's modulate something. So we can start, I think, with the dance. Let me use also attenuator for that and modulate it quite slowly. Not too much though. So I'm using lapse sauce for this. So it's gonna slowly go into the sort of like more reverby and then more delay-ish sound. And let's modulate also minus with mimetic. So I'm gonna go into saw modulation, and then we need to clock it, so I can duplicate the signal from stepping, and then send it into the mimetic to the next. And I would like to reset the mimetic as well. So I'll put C, 8 steps, and reset it once in a while. Yep. And the output 4 goes here into the lapses, and we can modulate the sawtooth. Let's switch reflection type. A little brighter. So basically, what we have right now is a lot of feedback being fed back into it. And this texture is kind of keeps evolving all the time. Let's go into detuned territory. go back to normal. Nice. And look, I don't have to do anything with this reverb because it keeps creating these different textures and stuff. Let's make it a little bit more obvious and modulate even faster. What's going on? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Super fun module. I hope you found it entertaining and fun. I'll see you guys next week. And until then, have fun. Let's go back into the dark territory.